Hello my good students, welcome back to our War on the Sea Let's Play series as the Japanese Navy. Today we are going to try and land on Manila, but how much do you want to bet that won't actually happen due to one or two threats that might just pop up from the allies there. We can see of course outside of our Akagi and Hiryu a possible battleship task force out there, so we do need to explore that. That's right on top of us. We need to get that out of the way before we can bring those two carriers towards Manila to help with the invasion fleet. So let's think about that. But before we go to the strategic map, we have a big old announcement to make. I am going to be narrating a historical documentary which is being scripted and created by the fellow YouTuber Zuikaku, and we are going to be collaborating with both Drakenophel and Wolfpack. Yes, that's it, the two mighty big boys of YouTube going to be collaborating as well, which is a very exciting time here. So looking forward to that. The documentary itself will be about the fighting around Iron Bottom Sound, the conflict around Guadalcanal, which is somewhat often overlooked since it was so close to the Battle of Midway, but it is also another turning point in the Second World War, and the Second World War specifically in the Pacific Theatre, of course. So that's rather interesting. I hope you do check that out. You can find a link to the trailer of that particular series in the description below. Please do check it out. It would really be great and really be appreciated if you did. So with that being said, let's go to the strategic map and see what we can do. Alrighty, so what threat are we talking of? We're talking about this one, of course. So we're well in range to strike that with our pretty decent stock of strike aircraft here. So what we're going to do is launch off some vows from Akagi. If we go to launch aircraft and of course go to vows, we're going to launch them with the usual armor piercing bombs. That's going to try and slow down whatever we need to hit here. And then the job can be finished off by Hiryu's Kates over here. We do have 16. Going to launch all of them, and that will give us some options and some more survivability there. Not so worried at the moment about losing Kates. We do want to bring in Akagi and Hiryu to support the invasion of Manila. So bringing that up, we do need to get rid of, or at least try and force this to retreat, this group over here, because it will be a direct detriment to us there. So I think let's move in for that immediately. It's not wasting any time. It's kicking off strong with a big old engagement here. What we're going to do actually is try and get on their rear, just over here, like so, and try and get a little further away from them, so I'm not right on top, and that should probably do. Although well, we're 54 kilometers away, that shouldn't be within range with our Akagi and such. We are going to pull back just in case. I don't want that to be an accidental surface engagement there. So we're going to just move in just a little bit while we wait for Akagi and Hiryu to pull back there. Go in like so. We'll keep sight of it. Just like that, and that will do. Let's go straight in. Okay, so what do we have? Visibility is pretty poor at 42%, but that works in our favour with an air attack, and we have a Queen Elizabeth. So not too much on the anti-air for that, but we do have a protecting Atlanta, which is going to hurt. We do have a New Orleans. Getting close to the last of these. Do have to keep reminding myself where we are on these. So we have two. Excellent. So of course we do have the usual assortment of destroyers protecting as well. That's going to provide just a little bit more flank and such over there. I would love to strike the Atlanta, of course, but the Queen Elizabeth is the more major threat over here. How many of those we have left? Can't be huge either. Two left of these. Excellent. So just going to tell the vows to go in immediately, like so. We can target like that. We are right behind it, so just break and attack like that. What we will do with the Kates then is form up into a few groups over here. If we go to box formation like so, and then we can come in with a few groups from either side there. We've got a lone Kate in one squadron by itself because we're just a little odd on the numbers there. We can turn around, keep a decent altitude, but we will reduce that altitude to a fairly low altitude there, and we'll come around and do a small pincer attack like that. We will increase our speed to max with everyone. Come around like so, And it's tempting to go for a heavy cruiser with the amount of Kates we have, but do we really want to risk that? I think we're here just for the war spite today, just to make sure that goes down. Bit of overkill is the best kill as ever. So we should be coming fairly close to that already. Yeah, already losing vowels here and there, because we did start pretty much right on top of them. But not to worry, not to worry. It is the Kates which are more valuable. How much are we moving out around there? It's not to worry. Just get some targets ready for that. So we don't have to faff around with the more minor commands later on. Should be about to start diving. And there we go. That is excellent. Really, really good on that. Hoping for some nice juicy hits on the funnels and engine rooms there. But with these small bombs there, there's a lot of misses already, isn't it? A lot of misses already. Not liking that, but yeah, we are getting very central with our hits there. A few duds, you're hearing the dinks there and the donks. Not a good first hit there, but that is all of our vowels gone. It's not a huge amount of hits there. Not going to be anything massive. Well, heavy damage, so that will be some speed gone down there. That is excellent. Might want to just come in a little more directly here with these Kates. The enemy is manoeuvring against us, so that's going to make things a little more difficult there. But we do want to come straight on in with these Kates. We are going at max speed, so that's absolutely fine. But I think we're going to want to come a little more directly here and just go straight on down to an attacking altitude with these Kates. We're going to take manual control for now and go with a big old formation attack like this. This is only 6 Kates. We will of course lose 1 or 2 on the approach, as ever. But with that now looking a lot slower at 11 knots, this should be a fairly easy run here. If we come to its rear a tad, just so that we can get a better lead off, we'll want to reduce our speed as we get closer. So we'll do that now. We'll go down to 178 knots. And I think that's not looking too bad. If we attack from here, we look through the binocular view, you can see the lead we have here. Very nice flat broadside. We're coming fairly central on that as well. Don't want to reduce our speed anymore because that will, of course, yep, there we go. Start losing us more Kates, so you can bet we're going to lose 1 or 2 more before we drop there. That's not looking too bad on the lead, so we are going to increase that altitude and speed and just tell ourselves to get out. We're going to move to the flank there so we don't move over the Atlanta. And what we're going to do is dive down with these Kates, of course, and just move straight on in over here, I think. These Kates, I think, can come down, but we will be a little more reserved with our speed and such there. Just to see how we drop over here. We are going to get a couple hits by the looks of it. That's looking good. That's looking very, very good. Yep. Come on. Right on the nose, please. Where the torpedo bulge is not so apparent. Oh, the fires on that. We are going to have to reduce our speed here. Come down. Because we are going rather fast for our torpedoes. And we'll come in here. Tell these Kates to circle round, actually. So we might not need all of them, and it would be nice in the name of preservation to not have to use all of them. So we'll tell these guys to attack from here, but they are going to get 2 off at the most now because we have lost a lot of Kates on that approach. Some very lucky flak shots. Should be dropping about now though. Just losing that Kate just as it drops. Yeah, we lost that whole group there, but 1 more torpedo should be hitting here at least. That's going to be 2 hits. And that's going to spread out the damage very nicely over the rear here. And to get a couple hits on either side of the ship. That should overload the flooding, the roaring fires on the bow there. That's a sight we really like to see. That never gets old. That really never gets old. Oh, it's a personal favourite of mine, seeing the massive fires concentrated like that, especially since we know the magazine is located in that sort of area. So, critical damage to heavy flooding. I think we can afford to wait around with these Kates. And actually, if we're going to do that, we're going to increase their spacing to 100 and increase the altitude to about 1,000 meters. Come round, keep sight out of AA range though, so we're less likely to lose them, and then we can use them later if need be. But I'm not entirely sure. Would love to make sure this does sink. I want those fires and floods to develop. Well, not satisfied with that. The fires did pretty much dissipate very, very quickly there. I'm not happy at all with that. We're coming in with these Kates from their port side because they got less concentration of ships, but of course on the bow, or not the bow, sorry, the broad side of a lot of ships there. Too many B's in the terminology here. We're going to go for a manual attack hit, so we do get a lot of central hits if possible there. That is just a massive notification that our Vals have left the area. Did shock me there. Oh, look at that, some very nasty flak shots there. Nasty, nasty indeed, but we're going to drop here and get out. Yep, look at that. There's a lot of Kates lost once again. But 2 more hits on the port side here. But right on the torpedo bulge. So how's that looking flooding wise? Still on heavy rather than critical. It's taken a lot of hits, this ship, hasn't it? A lot of hits. Is it fully worth it? So that's that Kate gone down as well. You have to wait around and see, I think. Well, after an extremely long wait, those floods did not develop into a critical state. The list on that Queen Elizabeth is astronomical, just not enough though to really permanently submerge it. That's a real shame though, because we lost 19 aircraft from that engagement. It's just for nothing, unfortunately, but hopefully that forces it to retreat and get out of our way so that we can move up safely to Manila. That's very, very sad indeed. Only 1 Kate escaping that. Not liking that at all. But we are going to have to move up, unfortunately. What we'll do is move up with this particular group over here, which we'll want to pick up troops and supplies from Del Monte. We will want to pick up from Puerto Princesa as well, but I think we'll leave those reinforcements at the moment, close by reinforcements, as we do take from Hong Kong over here, and we are going to take up some reinforcing troops from Kure, as we have recently been resupplied by the looks of things. And we're going to focus on actual supplies, I think, with this invasion task force. Take as much as we can over there, because that's what's really going to burn down with this invasion. Can see a submarine over here. Might want to try and go with the ground defense force, detach our destroyers once again for that. Should do that later and have a poke around, but otherwise not a lot going on, is there? Do a little patrol around Iwo Jima with our supply interceptors, keeping our Yamato task force out here. Might want to start patrolling properly with that. If we come north over here, because they are thinking about going to Iwo Jima a fair bit, but we'll also come down a bit over here. Keep some nasty lines around there. If we don't sight anything, we can bring that back down to truck, because we have noticed a lot of shipping coming around there since we started this campaign, haven't we? So we do have a lot of command points about, but there's not much I'm really pushed for just yet. Maybe reinforcing the ground defense force with another battleship as planned originally, and swapping out the Atago and Takao over here for something. And that might be something to do while we're not overly bothered, actually, if we send these back right now. Myoka's not too bad for damage. Fubuki might want to be swapped as well, with 16 small damages there. But we shall see. I think we're just going to split off the heavy cruisers for now, though. Bring them out over to Kure to rest and repair. Can we bring out anything to replace them in the meantime? I wouldn't mind a Mogami. How many do we have left? We've got the Suzuya and the Kumano, and we've used both Tones. What about Takao? Do have the Chokai, so we'll go with a Takao. We've used all of the Myokos. We've got Ashigara. Let's go with a Mogami, because that's just solid, solid choice there. And I'll bring those down to reinforce that instead. Yeah, it was a battleship we were thinking of, but I think we ran out of points for that just now with that. So we do want to get another Nagato perhaps, and not to worry, we'll get that out later. So we're not doing too much with that. It's just there is a coastal defence, last line of defence for Guam at the moment there, but not to worry at all. So let's carry on and finally try and get on top of Manila. Well, a day or so has passed, and we've been given another chance to sink a Queen Elizabeth, and that is absolutely brilliant. But being the merciful commander that I am, we're actually going to try and go for the Atlanta here, because the Atlanta is just really annoying. It does open us up again for future air attacks onto this task force here. So we're going to get 4 torpedoes ready. To 1 degree spread. We will of course try and identify that. It's very easy to do so. It's very obviously an Atlanta. We are much within range. We have some long range on our IJN torpedoes. Sea state is very nice, very good visibility at 90%. Sea state of 2, very calm indeed. We're just going to pull off with this particular submarine and actually just silent and submerge further down. Only the 1 submarine to do this, so we're going to stay still. In fact, we're not going to stay still. We are going to just pull out to their flank just to get moving there. This sub can stay at periscope depth, of course, and start moving in closer. What sort of lead do we have on there? We have a 26 degree lead, but we need to submerge ourselves just a bit now to 30 meters. So they do have some bow fighters out, scouting about with some bombs, and they will certainly do some damage. They do spot us. So okay, we've got our C-type here, are ready to pounce. Just need to be patient. They are moving a tad away from us rather than into us, which does make this a little more tricky. We are going to fire out as soon as possible before they come out of range, so that we're not chasing them with our torpedoes. So just let those bow fighters pass over a little more. Because the sea state is fairly calm, they will easily spot us, our refraction in the water. I think we're okay. Let's go back to periscope depth. We've got a very nice solution just coming down to the lead now, which is still 23 degrees there. But it's not going to get much better with them pushing around like that, so I think we're going to have to go for that. Let's make sure we do get to periscope depth fairly safely there. And with the 1 degree spread that we're firing out at, so that will spread out fairly wide there with the distance that we're at. So I think we're quite confident with that, with the high solution we've got. And that's the bow fighters coming back. So we are going to fire out as quickly as possible before they do spot us. And that is very nice indeed. They've got a couple squadrons out, so we are going to have to instantly go and submerge, dive down a little deeper there. We'll go to 70 meters, silent. Doesn't look like they've spotted us, and it was a good idea for us to move our secondary sub further down and to move that out. But we shouldn't be in sight anymore. You can see there's no reflection or refraction in the water there, so we can't spot that. Might be able to spot the torpedoes if they're alive to it, which is a bother, possibly a problem there, but doesn't look like they've reacted to it just yet. So all we can do is sit and wait. Well, as we're readying up to land on Manila, the AI seems to have beaten us to the punch. This is right outside Keelung, the northern Formosa base. They've got a bloody New Mexico, a Bogue, and a whole host of invasion transport ships. So we've got a few Torus here, not knowing exactly what we'll find. We're going to try and strafe something over here. Maybe the Arthur Middleton, maybe this small transport over here. Something on their flank that might well be easy to do so. This has got a small flak cannon on the rear. The Arthur Middleton does as well. Might as well just go for this since it is closer. We'll go straight in over there. Not expecting to really sink that with only 3 Toryus here, but we need to do something. Can't just say we sat and did nothing with this about. Reduce our speed as ever, go straight in and attack from here. But this is rather nasty. Rather nasty indeed. No warning of this, and if it weren't for that bloody New Mexico, I'd very happily go in with some supply interceptors perhaps, because that is really the only protective ship here. I'm only seeing 1 destroyer so far, 2 destroyers, that's about it. Not nice at all. Luckily got the jump on them, doesn't seem to be any enemy fighters about so far. Not getting anything major on there with only 3 planes, but not to worry. What we can do is slow down and come back over to this small transport over here. We go straight on. You can see the visual glitch where it looks like being orbitally bombarded by some sort of small arms there. Yeah, it's just a tad awkward on there. Too soon to attack onto that. We come back round. Slow down again and try targeting that Arthur Middleton again. Just focus fire on that will really help us. Get down, round, we can tell that to attack now. So lots of small arms, so lack of flak. That's exactly what we like to see. Very much open to an air attack this actually. Even despite having the supportive bogue there. Yeah, there's 1 plane down, not good. How's that looking incidentally? Heavy to moderate. It did heavy damage to that smaller carrier as well. Very much at the mercy of how those fires develop, I think. Running out of ammunition a little as well. If we can maintain this, it will happen. 1 ship. That's a very nice rear fire there, actually. But yeah, there we go. Just the 1 plane now. Let's just get out, I think. Not going to do too much with that unless we ram it. I don't want to lose a plane just like that. Where are we? Critical damage to heavy flooding. That may develop a tad. Not too sure though. Not overly optimistic on that. But we could circle around, keep sight, and watch out for that, I think. Otherwise, we go back to the strategic map. Well, you wouldn't believe it. With just 3 Toryus, we managed to sink that single ship. That's some supplies, surely, away from them. So that will help us a tad. That, again, is right next to Keilung over here. Very nasty indeed. We can launch some more Toryus from the southern Formosa base. We'll launch them out just as strafing units there. And that will mean we should be able to launch out some more attack aircraft. I'm thinking Bessies, really. With some... I think torpedoes will certainly have some better potency. We go over here. Can we launch anything out? It did say a cooldown of 9 minutes. Yeah, it's not too long though. We can launch out some more Kates, I think, with torpedoes here. We are going to have to try and counter this. I've lost too many bases recently, you know. Just won't bloody let us get to Manila, will they? It's like they know we're coming. But we are going to have to move over and try and deal with that. We'll keep this Toryu out just to keep some sight around there. Let's keep going. Okay, so we should have finally come into contact with that carrier task force going towards Kenny. Yes, we have. Betty's right on top of it. These Bettys are armed with torpedoes. Hoping to go for, of course, a transport ship. We're going to have to get them straight out. We'll increase that altitude for now and turn them round to the enemy's flank round here. I think we'll decide what to attack with them. We do have some kamikaze valves. I don't think bomb-loaded valves will really do too much against anything here with just the 3 of them. And I am willing to expend some valves if it does mean they have a reduced invasion power over here, we are going to have to come in with our Toryus, which are off fire at will, just in case we lose control of those. I want to strafe down some ships rather than attack some planes, of course. We will come in with our Kates. They can attack, I think, this particular ship here. And I believe that's one we did previously hit, so we want to leave that to strafing, really, and get the torpedoes on something that isn't already damaged. So I think we might want to get them on to the number 6, really. So bring those to the front, and I think we'll, having said that, bring the Toryus around there to support as well, so they can take some fire away and support that. We'll think about the Vals. They can come round and support the Bessies in just a second. So, very lucky to have actually made second contact with this. I was dipping in and out of tactical view frantically and never seeing these guys. They have luckily turned up on our radar coverage around Formosa, which is how we spotted them. I'm hoping we don't lose any Bessies on our little escape out here. We are going to compress time just to speed things up a tad around here. We want to bring the Kates around. Looks like they are manoeuvring, so what we'll do is we'll pull up, and I think the Bessies will go for this, I believe it's Dutch transport ship here. So we'll get them to climb down. We'll go to torpedoing altitude here, full speed still. I'm wondering if it's worth sending the Vals at the Bogue here just to deter that. We shall see. Because I'm pretty sure the 3 hits will be enough to destroy that, and removing an escort carrier will be absolutely brilliant. Just checking what ships we do have over here. I think we might want to send the Toryus to strafe down the number 6 as well, so that's slowed down for the Kates, and so we will definitely destroy that. So we're going to slow down our speed here. And I think we'll just reduce our altitude a tad as well, so we're ready for that. And I think we really will send the Vals over here, just as a distraction against for the Bessies, which can turn more directly inwards now and will reduce their speed. And we'll certainly bring those up a little more concisely as they get closer. Kates can now turn in and dive down. Should have done that a little quicker, a little earlier, but not to worry. Toryus not looking too bad against this. Then we can turn around and maybe hit this ship as well afterwards. So how are the Bessies looking? I think I want to turn these in before we forget. And then we'll turn around, get the Toryus to attack from here. Just a lot to keep track of. Looks like they're focusing the Vals and Toryus at the moment, meaning these Bessies will do fairly decently. They do get a hit off. What I'm going to do is actually line ahead with these guys, so that hopefully we do get all 3 torpedoes on target. Because I don't think 2 hits will be enough. Unfortunately, we've lost a Val before it hits, but we have got 1 decent hit onto that ship there. In fact, I'm going to do a manual drop here, just because it's a tad easier. I don't really trust the lead over here at the moment, and I think that will do. Probably a little late on that, but not to worry. How are we looking with the Toryus? Not too bad. I've got some nice damage, as we can see, onto that cargo ship. I'm going to go straight on over to this ship over here. We're going to form up, of course. Not a line ahead. We'll go for a box here, and we will reduce our speed and turn into that. There we go, certainly getting hits onto that cargo ship there. That is excellent. One more will be very nice, but we quite likely missed there by the looks of it. Yeah, we did miss with 1. It's rather unlucky that we have lost a Toryus as well. Going to have to dive down with these Kates and reduce our speed here to actually target this. And I think we can tell them to attack from here pretty much. How the Toryus looking on that? Lovely, I think. Good enough. Just told them to form up on one that's just been destroyed. Let's not do that and tell them to actually increase their altitude before they dive down. We've learnt that mistake before. So I'm hoping at least just 1 hit on this. I believe it's an Arcturus here with our torpedoes, but we're going to curl back around over here and go for 3 again, I think. Or we could go for either of them here. quite a lot of options there to strafe, really. I think we'll go for the 7 to begin with, and we'll double check this. Is that forward one going to hit? No, it's just going to miss that, unfortunately. That's the number 6. What's the damage on there? Heavy to heavy, probably not going to sink there. Our Torios are going to have to pull their weight. There's only 4 of them. I'm not entirely convinced of that. Let's slow down our speed, reduce our altitude. Could get spicy and ram with our Bessies, perhaps. Might be an idea. Might be an idea. I think we only hit the one actual Val onto that bogue. That's more damage than what we'd have done with any bombs, unfortunately. That's going to be very nice onto that cargo ship. That is sinking. That's brilliant. That's 1 down. Let's form up again. Keep our speed fairly low. We will turn over, I think, to this ship if possible. Just pausing to make sure we have decent control over that. Reduce our speed a tad more and get straight on to strafing that down. Ooh, number 8 was struck by something there. We'll double check that. Stray torpedo. And that's excellent. Did we hit the 5? I don't think we have hit the 5 at all. That's rather unlucky. But we will once again form up. And we will actually pull out now at full speed. Go to a decent altitude and come to the rear. What was the number 8? That was a destroyer. Rather unlucky there. Let's see how the number 3 is doing. Heavy to heavy. I think we might want to hit something with these Bessies. Might want to ram the bogue again to really force them to retreat there. I'm going to get very greedy, very nasty here with that. The number 3 is sinking, so that's brilliant. So, what do we want to strike now? I want to go for one of these cargo ships we have hit previously. I'm thinking we'll go for the number 8. Well, number 4 first, 'cause it's on the rear. We are running low on ammo though. It's not a good sign. We will compress time while we can. And these Bessies are going to have to be very, very low indeed. So we're going to have to manually do this. You can see it's got a secondary explosion, that bogue. So whatever hits we can get on this. I'm wondering if it sits high enough in the water for this though. I wonder if the superstructure in that, because it doesn't have any superstructure really, just the deck. But we'll see what we can do. If we can get this carrier down, it'll be absolutely worth it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just low enough there. That should be enough to get it down. Should be enough. So it's the 4 and the 6, and I think the 6 is probably the better target at the moment because it is actively on fire. So we'll pull out and come round to the bow of that. Take a report on that bogue. Heavy to heavy, possibly develop, possibly develop. Of course we do have some backup gates if you want to give it another go. But we are limited on fuel and such on Kalung, as it was not a priority base. We should inflict enough damage. Those who caught the stream the other day will notice that we managed to send a couple IJN task forces home. One in particular, we hit a Nagato to such a degree it didn't sink, but it was damaged enough to encourage the whole task force to retreat, and that's the only thing we hit. So I'm hoping really the same rules apply here. Generally, I'd say to make a task force retreat, you hit the number 1 and 2 ships, or you can destroy 50% of their total task force. But with the easier targets and the most important targets being the transport ships here, we've certainly got to hit these. Don't really have the resources to destroy the battleship as well as the carrier at the moment, and it looks like we're running out of fuel, ammo here. That's the number 4 we were after as well, wasn't it? Let's go for that to keep our speed down. Flip on over here. Yeah, lost a Toru there. Just try and encourage this one really. It'll increase our speed a tad so we actually get over there. Yeah, but only 2 Torus there. Not great. So we didn't actually target that, but not to worry. I'll make sure this one goes down. That bogue is not looking good. Can see some fires roaring on the bow there. Are we getting any shots onto here? We are getting some. We're getting an explosion. That's nice. But we have lost a Toryu. I think we're going to have to let that go, unfortunately. Just increase its altitude. And we'll keep it circling so that we do keep sight, so we can watch what happens over here. But only 2 ships down. Not great. Maybe we should have sent the Vals as a cargo ship. Did get rather greedy. Once you see a carrier, in play, very lucky that they didn't send any aircraft at us. Actually, that's rather unusual, but rather lucky for us. Let's take another report. Critical damage on the bogue, actually, critical on the number 6 there. But we have to see how those develop. Really, I'm hopeful the 6 will go down because it's still roaring fires, nasty lists, and it is only going at 3 knots. So you can see it's really struggling there. Must have really damaged the central area here. We shall have to see. And there we go. The bogue and that cargo ship did sink. So that does leave, what have we got? 1 and 2 cargo ships remaining, as well as a battleship. We'll see if that forces them to retreat there. With the amount of supply ships and the carrier loss, I'm really hoping that does retreat. I'd be very surprised if it does go forwards, because obviously we don't know exactly what's on these cargo ships here. Whether destroyers are carrying anything either. I'd be tempted to go forward after that, but you never know. Got 9 command points. Let's see. Let's see what happens. You see their planes actually probably going for our supply interceptors here, but I'm sure they will just disappear now that we have destroyed that carrier. We do have to return to base with our Kates and Toryus here, which is rather unlucky there. We can't launch anything else out from Kalung, I believe. I think that was everything. Really, we do have 0.1 hours to wait anyway. And anything from Kaohsiung over here will take too long. So what have we got? So we got our invasion supplies 1. These are the Devour based supplies and such, waiting to pounce. We have mostly troops over here, and that's going to be the first initial landing of troops. We're waiting at Hong Kong to actually finally destroy the defenders over here. And then we'll pick up as many supplies as possible. And we do have, where are we? Our invasion supplies, mostly supplies once again over here to back up our massive amount of troops. Because we do have some reinforcement troops, of course, on Puerto Princesa over here. So you can see Davao had a roughly 9,000 troops on. We've got about 8,000 over there. Don't have a loss at Del Monte because we did send it over to Puerto Princesa. So if this combined is not enough to take Manila without bombardments, we will have to pummel that into the ground until it is sufficiently possible to conquer. So we're going to wait around and see what happens about this task force over here, whether it does retreat, but otherwise we may have to leave the episode there. And unfortunately, I keep saying this, but we're going to have to leave the Manila for the future. Unfortunately, it will drag on far too much otherwise. So let's carry on and see what happens about that. Well, we can see they are coming over. Let's just carry on over here. What are they doing? Not trying to get too close there, are they? Looks like they're passing by. I am just sending some planes over to tackle some supply ships down to truck. Let's just catch those. Where's these Bettys? We've lost sight because we were focusing on those ships over there, but not to worry. We can let those slip if we make sure this doesn't invade. It looks like we've dealt enough damage to make sure that retreats, unless it wants to go to Okinawa, of course. In which case, we will send these subs over just to check over here, I think. They can patrol around there very quickly. So, I think that will have to be it for today, guys. Yet that has disappeared. That is excellent. And we didn't quite catch that around truck, did we? It is gone midnight now, so those Bettys did have to retreat. So, once again, thank you very much for watching. We are going to have to end it there, unfortunately. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and we shall be back tomorrow, I believe. So, I shall see you then. I hope all of your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.